What's going on, guys? So, before we get into everything, want to plug our sponsor, W. So, this is the original shaker cup I got, but I got some new stuff recently because of like the W's birthday thing and whatnot. So I ordered some stuff, and so I got some of the W Hydro because it's getting ready to start getting warm and to kind of like help cool down and everything. And this has two flavors in it, and they're in like little packs, kind of like that right now. This one's actually like a family favorite right here, the watermelon lemonade. It's very, very good. But there's another flavor called the pine berry splash. It's like pineapple and strawberry. It's quite tasty as well. I highly recommend these. Like for those of you guys that are like out there in the heat and stuff, it's hydration support, no artificial colors or dyes, no maltodextrin filler, no sugar, zero caffeine, no secret proprietary blends, and it's a smooth taste. It really is a smooth taste. Speaking of smooth, now told you guys I really like the Amoeba elixir and everything like that as far as energy drink side goes, because this is more like your Gatorades. But as far as energy drink goes, this so far is probably my favorite, even over the Amoeba elixir, which I liked a lot. But this one, it's called Galaxy Grenade, and so it's like guava. I gotta actually like read it because I can't remember everything that's in it. Watermelon, guava, and lime, and like they've got like little popsicles right there on the label. And guys, like this one is fantastic. Um, Also, if you don't like the taller ones, but you want the same amount of like taller shaker cups, I should say, pronouns, pal. So if you don't like these taller ones, they actually make same out size, like a shorter snub nose version. I don't know how else to call it, but if we can kind of compare sizes there, voila. But if you noticed, well, hang on before I get into that. Also, want to take this moment to um, plug my Tin Roof playlist over on Spotify. Really want y'all to check that out if you are looking for some good music options um, that are clean and still rocking or picking and grinning. But that being said, hang on one second. I'm gonna take a drink of this. This is the. I think I did the watermelon lemonade. I shook it up a little while ago, and I had to set it down and take care of a couple other things. So I don't remember what I shook up. Yeah, that's the watermelon lemonade. Quite tasty. But I took the break. I took a break last week. Um, we had a camp out thing that we went to over the weekend, and the weekends is normally whenever I record my stuff. I tried to pre-record the week before, but things had been really busy, and even this weekend I found it to be a struggle to click record and actually to do these. So yeah, I've been struggling a little bit, guys. I even kind of mentioned it in the last video. Things have just been difficult. We've been busy. We've got a lot going on. I try to do a lot, um, and it kind of has started to weigh down on me. I'm not going anywhere. Uh, I hated the silence last week, in a sense, because I felt like I was letting anybody that actually listens to these down. But I needed a minute, and even like trying to record this episode for this, like for Tin Roof, was almost a challenge. Um, and even even College Tans, I've got some really cool episodes in mind for both of these to continue the anger series, and just I had a really cool idea for an episode for this where I wanted to talk a lot of different things, and I just like I had a moment where I was like, I'm not even motivated to do it, and um, I'm just kind of free flowing here because like I don't know. I wanted to explain to you guys kind of what happened, and I was just gonna say I took a break last week, but here we are. But and then it just kind of spilled out a little bit more. Uh, yeah, I guess I just needed a break. I'm feeling okay right now, which is obviously why I'm clicking the record button. But we're already like 5 minutes in, and so I do want to get started in on today's topic, which, as you can tell from the title, the past, the present, and the future. Um, this one was going to be geared more towards like motorsports in general, but I think I'm going to like I want to hit on a few different things because like I've been reminiscing like '90s stuff for quite a while, and I'm going to do my best to make this like a video like podcast episode more so than the others. So if there's any, if I, because editing and time is what's going to end up being my foe here. Um, because Sunday afternoon I've got other stuff I've got to do on top of wanting to do this, and so as you can see, I'm actually even filming in a different room if you are watching the video version of this. But uh, I'm very excited about this one because of how I wanted to take it. So, like I said, past, present, and future. Um, Being a '90s kid, obviously, like a lot of the stuff on the playlist has been very '90s-ish in a lot of senses. And then there's also like some more modern stuff, and even like I think a few classic, like older songs in the '90s too. But I'm going to continue adding to it. I actually have added a couple of those songs. I can't remember if I said that whenever I plugged the playlist, but I have added a few more here as of late, and we'll be adding more as we progress. But today, my idea, like I said, mainly focused towards racing, but I started thinking about, man, like how much I miss the '90s, like different things. So my son and I, we started watching some ads yesterday, and that was kind of cool to watch some '90s commercials with my kid. Um, a lot of crazy things happened in the '90s that are like not things, but like bands and stuff that uh, are still very, very popular today. Korn being one of them. They've been around for like 30 years. Hatebreed's been around for 30 years. They're actually doing a like 30th anniversary tour, and they're coming to St. Louis this fall, and I'm really trying to go because like Hatebreed's one of my favorite bands. I've seen them live once at Mayhem Fest, and Mayhem Fest is an older thing too. And so like I thought it'd be cool to kind of like chop it up like what I want to see going forward with a few different things, as well as like the past for different things, and even maybe even do that with this show. So like, where do I want to like? Obviously, the past part isn't very long, whereas the present part is this. We're recording episodes, we've progressed to videos, but where do I want to take it from there? I don't know. Like, I actually kind of want to do my own festival at some point. Mixing in all the different things, call it like Tin Roof Fest or something, which a place like that's called Tin Roof Fest, I feel like you need to have it in a field, and you need to have the stage or one of the stages resemble the shack, right? So uh like that would be kind of a cool thing to do. um but we've talked about like Chad Gray's comment on like music sounding the same and stuff today, and um he came from like the new metal era, essentially, like around the same time as Slipknot and Korn and even Hatebreed to a sense. But Hatebreed was very much like they are metal. They're not new metal. They're very, but like they're from that same era, so that's why I lump them all together. But I want to like obviously we've talked about that, we've hashed that out, but using that same premise, I want to talk about the future of music, what I would like to see. Um, Motionless in White has a really, really cool layout on how they do things. Because like when they remix a song, they take it in a million different ways. I can't play music due to like the Spotify stuff. Like there's gonna be other things that I'm gonna do on this for like here in just a couple of minutes on things that I wanted to do. But they got a werewolf version that is synthwave. They've got a couple other songs that they've done in like synthwave sounds. But then they've also done motion soundtracks, like motion picture soundtracks almost, for some of their songs where they've slowed them down, added pianos and strings, and I really dig that. So like moving forward with metal, we've seen different bands where, in the past it was all just screaming, whereas more presently we, but still like a couple of years ago for a couple of them, like Whitechapel has started doing some, singing in their screaming songs, like Hickory Creek. I think they did it in a couple others too. Lamb of God started doing it in a couple of theirs. So going forward, uh, we've got this unique sound with Sleep Token and how they do things, uh, which is great because they've found their own like unique thing and they're taking off with it, like they're doing amazing. And it's because they're unique and they've added, they've taken like bits and pieces of every little thing and like put it together. And I think that's why that works so well for them. So I want to see more metal bands find like their own unique groove. um Slaughter to Prevail, they've kind of got something that's working for them as far as like using YouTube. Alex Terrible does, and that's really working for them as far as like using YouTube as a marketing tool, as it is for lots of people. I mean, these podcasts being put on YouTube and Spotify and stuff. Uh, it's a way for me to connect on a weekly basis, and to like kind of put myself out there. I enjoy talking about these things and whatnot, and it's kind of so people can get to know me and hopefully, you know, buy books or, whatever. At the least they're, listening to these or watching my cooking videos or whatever. And so, in ways it helps, and it's a fun thing for me to do. It allows me to get creative. And so YouTube is huge for the things that it adds in that sense. Um, there's a future one for you. So past, like I grew up watching music videos and all different kinds of cool things and funny videos and stuff on YouTube. YouTube's been like one of my go-to things ever since I was in high school, early high school days, like almost middle school. So I would like to kind of see YouTube chill a little bit. Like I get why they're so like militant on their copyright protections, and same with uh, Spotify and some of these other places. Like they're protecting these other creative guys, like bands and stuff. So say I wanted to, like talking about Motionless in White, say I wanted to like play a clip of one of their songs or whatever in this, me being a music podcast or like typically directed towards music podcasting. I can't do that because then they'll, take the sound out of the video. They'll do different things to where I can't promote what I want to promote really, other than saying, "Hey, I really like this. You should go listen to it." I mean, there's guys that can like get away with the reaction stuff, and I don't know how to do that. So, and I would love to promote things, but I got to figure out what I'm doing first. So, reaction videos are another thing that I want to do further down the road, obviously, but uh, trying to do different cool things like that. As far as YouTube goes, I'd like to see them chill out a little bit, because not all of us out here are trying to rip off people as like far as like playing their songs and stuff like that. Sometimes it's like, man, we got this really cool thing that we could do right here, and we love this band and we want to show off this band, and can't do that. So that would be nice to see changed. Uh, but there's so many, like back to the metal vein that I was on before I tangented. uh, I want to see, I want to see like that whole groove thing that I was talking about, where people are like find their own grooves and just kind of do what they want. Uh, and in a sense, they already are, but I feel like we can still put ourselves too much in boxes. I mean, think about all the different kinds of genres that we have for metal. Um, and there's a great guy on TikTok. I can't remember his name right now because I would love to plug it, because he makes some really cool uh, videos about including anybody that wants to listen to metal. And he talks about like how a lot of people start off by listening to Slipknot, a lot of people start off by listening to Disturbed and stuff. And those people are gateways into other bands. So uh, that would be something that I would like to see all over the place. Like the whole name three bands thing. I used to be one of those people, or not name three bands, but like name three songs. Uh, I used to be one of those people, which it'd be cool, if the person wearing that shirt is a fan of that. But at least they bought the shirt, um, and that is something that I have definitely changed my view on because of like different people. Like even I think who was it, Kerry King? I'm not a big Slayer fan, but I think it was Kerry King, like Miley Cyrus or somebody was wearing a Slayer shirt, and somebody was like, "Oh, well, she doesn't listen to music." And he's like, "Who cares? She bought the T-shirt. I got royalties from that." And I mean, that's a really good point. It's still support for the band, and people are seeing that shirt like, okay, Miley Cyrus is wearing a Slayer shirt, and then so obviously then people start listening to Slayer. Uh, Same thing could be done for several bands. Um, so like the metal community chilling out on um, different aspects of that being kind of gatekeepery, and same with like country. Although like I don't like what's being played on the radio today, and that was part of what I was going to go to for country. Was okay. Let's look at country music. The past, you know, up until late '90s, early 2000s, I thought it was great. You know, we had Diamond Rio with Meat in the Middle. Beautiful Mess, Brooks and Dunn. Uh, Man, the list goes on and on with what we had in the '90s. Tracy Lawrence, which is one of the guys that's featured on my YouTube play, or not my YouTube, but my Spotify playlist right now. We I really like early 2000s and earlier. Modern day stuff that's played on the radio, not so much. Like Zach Brown Band, some Eric Church, different things like that. I really do enjoy. Record Year. It's a song that I really want to put on the Tin Roof playlist. Speaking of that, but I want to see things kind of go back to the way they were and not be so poppy. I mean, I get they had to do it to kind of like get some sales and everything like that. But I wish they wouldn't have. I wish they would have, stayed true to what country music is. And so, you know, like Charlie Pride was awesome back in the day. I like his songs a lot. That's another guy that needs to get added to the list. I think I finally added Conway Twitty's "That's My Job" to the list, and so that's one that I'm really happy that I added because that's such a good song. But like just the whole poppiness sound that like Florida Georgia Line uses, and even like some of Luke Bryan's stuff. Luke Bryan's got a couple of good songs. Uh, you know, I want that gone. I want more of like what it used to be. Three chords and the truth, as the saying goes. Festivals are everywhere right now, and so I think that's a positive. But because concerts are hard to go to, and in the past concerts were like reasonable. Right now concerts are not reasonable, so in the future I'd like to see pricing for concerts get back to reasonable. I don't think we will see that, but I would like to see that. But that's kind of like my whole thought process on like the whole stuff with music and whatnot. I wanted to make sure that we definitely spent time talking music, because it's music's a big deal with this podcast. It's kind of the main premise of this, before we got into like the throw and dirt section, which I almost made like title this like a throw and dirt special essentially. But I kind of wanted to talk about those things. But I think even before we get into throwing dirt, I think it would be fun. We're just gonna pull up one of these like compilations of commercials from the 90s, and watch a handful of commercials and see if we remember any of them. And I'm gonna like clip it up and like here on the
Only one
So right out the gate, this whole Tommy and the Order of the Cosmic Champions thing that he's plugging here for, it's a book. I definitely think we need to go check this out, like as a whole. I'm gonna look at the price and see, like, because I want to order this. Like, this is cool. The link to this video and everything will be in there, and I'm gonna like give credit to Dave's Archives in the description and everything, because like this is from them. So, but this whole Tommy and the Order of the Cosmic Champions thing, that's pretty neat.
Right now at Hollywood Video, this movie is guaranteed to be waiting for you to rent.
Sometimes grown-ups need to lie. If I'd have told Mommy she looked like a cow, it would have hurt her feelings. You're the victim here, starved for affection, driven into the arms of another man.
7.
Yeah, whatever. There's no such thing as a weaker sex.
Liar, Liar, guaranteed to be in stock only at Hollywood Video. Want entertainment? Go to Hollywood. Hollywood Video.
Actually, the picture of that looks just like the Hollywood Video that was down the street from my mom's house. Like, that's wild. I don't remember this.
I hate this part.
Monster Eyes are back at Taco
I
Bell.
totally
Get them while they're fresh.
I
Just
totally had
99
some of
cents
these
with the
growing
purchase
up.
of a combo meal.
They
Taco
ended
Bell.
up on my
Want
dad's
some?
dash of his pickup. I didn't realize that's what this was gonna be. So those Monster Eye straws from Taco Bell were like super cool back whenever Taco Bell actually had kids menu. Man, that's pretty cool. And like nowadays, talking about commercials and everything like that, we don't really have commercials that we watch, because like you can pay for commercialless apps on your TV and stuff. So we really don't want, like in our house, we don't really watch commercials very much anymore. So that whole part of it has changed for us. I guess it's time to get into the throwing dirt section. So this whole like throwing dirt section is kind of geared more towards rally car racing and monster trucks than anything. But if I were to talk like dirt track racing and everything like that, in the past, small hometown tracks were everywhere, and now because you can sell off a piece of property and build a subdivision on it and make loads of money, that's the way people are going, and I get it. Make money. That's the way the world works, unfortunately. But I hate seeing like the small town tracks go away. I've seen several close since like being involved in motorsports. Fairs have even kind of like taken a turn on things, and it's sad to see how that's going in the present. Whereas in the past, fairs would have mud bogs and monster trucks and tractor pulls and demolition derbies, and nowadays like demolition derbies seem to struggle to get a car count, and it's unfortunate. Really makes me sad, but in the future I would hope that hopefully we can turn this around now. Like in the present, we need to turn it around, so in the future we still have dirt tracks out there that are doing well, because like there's a handful that are doing well. Like I-55 is right down the road from me, and it's doing pretty good, and there's other places that are doing good, but we need to figure out, one, we need to go to races to help support these places so they can continue to stay open, even if it's a special event, like just going to a special event, something to help pay to like support these people, because it's a small business, and so they need that kind of support. But we've kind of started to lose those things, and I don't want to lose those things. So for a better future, we need to work on a better present, and that's one way we can do it. And my son, he has taken a liking to sprints, And so like I want to take him to a sprint race, and so like we're working on what we're going to do for that. And unfortunately, him and I haven't like been able to enjoy motorsports like side by side, in a sense, because most of the motorsports that he's been around, I've been working at, and so like to be a fan again, like whenever we went to the 100 Acre Wood a couple of weeks ago, was really really cool. But I want to be a fan and like do some video and some maybe some interviews and stuff. So do a little bit of journalism work, but talking about other people, not myself, is what I want to be doing right now. So, but I guess in a way, it's still opinionated because it's my opinions on what I would like to see. I guess let's go into monster trucks. So right now, we're at a stage where we're not crushing cars anymore, which I think is fine. But there's a few things that I would like to see done differently. First and foremost, I would like to I hope every single small promoter like finds a way to succeed and finds like what they're looking for as far as success goes. Just because like I think we need something other than Monster Jam. But I want to see like a legitimate points series for racing, and ideally, like from what I've seen from like rallycross, and there is a track that is put on every year by, I think it's the MTX production group. I think is like the name of the production group that puts it on. It's the Charlotte, like the Charlotte Back to School Bash. It's one of the biggest monster truck events of the year that's outside of Monster Jam, and they build an over/under track. They were the first ones to do it. And Rich Schaefer was actually one of the very first ones, or was like the guy that came up with the idea of an over/under track and made it work. And so, I want to see more rallycross style tracks, because that one would be like a rallycross style track in my opinion. But like Nitro Cross right now is some fantastic rallycross racing. And actually, let's pull up. Like I'm gonna pull up a video, and all credit to Nitro Cross for this video. So this race happened like 2 years ago, and
Andrew, you've been talking
it was
about
a
how much affinity
it was a really good race,
for,
but it kind of shows you what I'm talking about. See, they start off on asphalt or tarmac, if you will, and then they go and they race on dirt throughout most of this track in particular. Your rallycross tracks can vary in gravel or dirt, as well as a mixture of asphalt. So you got to have asphalt as a key component, and you got to have either dirt or gravel, or maybe even a combination of the two. But and this was back before they started doing electric cars. I want to see more brand recognition done in car racing. We're going to get more into that here in a minute. But as we watch this race in particular, there's a couple of things that I want to point out that I think are very, very key as to what I think we could see from racing with monster trucks. I will get into freestyle here in a little bit, but this right here I think is what we need for monster trucks, because the Nitro Cross format is like they start off, side by side, like head to head racing. And it'll be, wheel to wheel racing with monster trucks. So as you see, like them coming through this corner, it's really good racing. Travis is kind of all over the place back there behind Kevin. But as we get closer, see Travis made up the distance. But like the Joker lap that's getting ready to happen, I think Travis took it on the first lap. He might have ended up taking it on the second. So see, he takes that low line, and like different things like this track right here, you can do really like you get some air with the trucks. Fuel might be an issue, so like different size tanks, like a larger tank might be needed, since monster trucks run on methanol a lot of times. And yeah, see, he takes that higher line there, and that gets him the Joker. The little icon next to the Pastrana means that he took the Joker that lap. So Joker lap is like basically a couple of spots in the track where it makes the race longer. If you're not familiar with how a Joker lap works in rallycross, so now Kevin still has to take it, but Kevin didn't take it on the first lap. So whenever Kevin takes it, which I think he ends up taking it here on the second lap, it evens them out, and so then they end up being like head to head anyways. But it's just a way to add flavor to rallycross, which I think is really really cool. But trucks side by side doing this would be super super cool. You gotta get the right group of guys together, I think, in order to like make this actually click and make people realize, oh yeah, this would work. And that goes with anything, right? So it just makes sense. So see, now they're back side by side, and it's rallycross is just fantastic. And you could really do this. Like think about the Pro MT days with monster trucks. For those of you who are big monster truck fans, this stuff would work.
Wow, look at you just flowing right now. Like Kevin, okay, here we go.
I mean, look at that. Like, I really think we could pull this off. Like the turning, the jumps with monster trucks. It's all there. The different track, conditions and tractions and everything like that, going from the asphalt to the dirt and different things like that would create something that I think we need in monster trucks that we're lacking. Like right now with Monster Jam doing flat track racing on a concrete floor, monster trucks that we're lacking. Like right now with Monster Jam doing flat track racing on a concrete floor or even on a dirt floor, like that's not monster trucks. This is closer to what we need to be like. Am I saying it's the actual answer? I don't know. I would love for it to be because I'm a big fan of rally and I'm a big fan of monster trucks. But something like that, I think, could work very, very well. As far as freestyle goes, though, since I brought up freestyle, I think we need to go back to, or not back to, but go to a different format. And you might have some questions on, well, how's that going to work? And I understand how someone would ask that, but I think we need to go to a format where it's for like the best choice of words, judged, which it's judged already. But what I mean is okay, freestyle motocross, BMX, skateboarding, they're all freestyle forms, right? Who judges those? Other freestyle motocross riders who no longer do it, or motocross riders. But back whenever freestyle motocross first started, it was motocross riders who understood how difficult it was to move a dirt bike around. Okay, former BMX riders that rode, BMX street, BMX park, BMX dirt, whatever the discipline was. Okay, so we do monster truck freestyle. Who should be judging it? Former monster truck drivers who drove in freestyle. Like it makes sense, because then we could put committees together of 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys, whatever you want to do. Okay, well, yeah, that was difficult, combination of whatever. Ryan Anderson makes it look easy, and it's a no-brainer to choose him because of what he can do in a monster truck. Whenever he can pull off a full freestyle, which is more often than not he gets his time. And so yeah, Ryan is the guy to beat right now as far as freestyle goes. But just in general, I think like having a straight up tour of freestyle monster trucking, or like make it more action sports like, because action sports is a thing that is appealing in a sense. Although like with the whole, I don't know, X Games is kind of, I guess like their viewership has kind of dwindled a little in a sense. Action sports aren't what they were in the 90s. I wish they still were as popular as what they were in the 90s and early 2000s, but I think they've lost a little bit. I'm still a fan. I still love BMX, always will. But I think we need to go that direction with monster trucks, especially if we're going to keep doing these different freestyle things that we're doing, as far as like backflipping the truck, the nose wheelies, the poppers, the moonwalks, the all of that. I think we need to change up how we do our racing and our freestyle, and we almost need to separate. In a sense, you want to be a racer, awesome. You want to be a freestyler, that's great. You want to do both, figure out how to manage your schedule to do both. And if people are, well, I came to this monster cross event to watch freestyle. Well, those venues are big enough you can put a freestyle track out there and you can still do both. But I still think we need to do our judging in the sense of having 3 or 4 or 5 guys do the judging for events as far as freestyle goes, because it'll legitimize it a little bit, make things a little bit more like sensical. Just personal opinions. Now, let's talk rallycross, because this weekend was, or not rallycross, but rally. This weekend was WRC's event in Croatia, and there's a lot of people mad about the points after this weekend, myself included, because unfortunately I am a Newville fan, so like him being in the points lead is cool, but how he's done it is kind of confusing to me, because he won in Monte Carlo. He did not do well in Sweden. He didn't do well in Kenya. He did well this weekend. So he secured a lot of points this weekend, but I'm trying to figure out how he's still 6 points ahead of Evans. And so a lot of this doesn't make sense. So one of the best points systems I've ever seen actually came, like, this is personal, actually came from the Do Action Sports Tour. And so like to like mimic their style of like how points should be done is something that I would like to see WRC do in the future, because this point system that they're doing right now needs a lot of work. And I think you can have people that aren't running full time still collect points in a way that would make sense, to where they could still be in contention, but obviously like wanting to get that consistency there from people would be a great idea. Because like right now, Calais Rovanpera should be towards the top, because he's won once, if not twice, I think, since I think he's won 2 out of the 4 rounds, if I like, as far as the rallies go, because I know he won in Kenya, and I think he even won in Sweden. And so having 2 out of 4 under his belt as far as winning should put him towards the top, right? I mean, I would think so. And so not having that be the case is very like confusing to me. Although like we're rewarding Newville's consistency, I think is great. And same with Evans. But the fact that it's already a 2-car race and we're 4 races into the season, and I can only see it progressing more, because like there's such a huge gap between Evans and Formeau that I don't think it'll get any better. So a change in points for the future would be huge, in my opinion, as well as what I would like to see happen is more manufacturers be present. I want to see Skoda, like, because like Rally 1's supposed to be the premier thing, right? And right now we only have 3 manufacturers: M Sport / Ford with their Puma make, and then we also our model, not so much make, because Ford would be the make. And then we have Toyota with their, I think they're running the Prius. Yeah. And then Hyundai running the Veloster. So I want to see more manufacturers be present. And having more manufacturers present, I think it would be good, because then you add incentives, make it worth people's while. Because like the only reason why manufacturers are involved is for car sales. Let's be honest. I mean, it's a marketing thing. That's why they're there, which is perfectly understandable, and that's the way it should be. But like, there's no pride in it anymore. As far as it, for a manufacturer, like you look at Monsters ads, they're putting motorsports and bull riders and all these other different disciplines of athleticism in their marketing. Like, hey, this guy drinks our drink. Are you a fan of bull riding? With JB Monty, Travis Pastrana with Red Bull. You know, they had Monster Energy monster trucks at one time. So like having these, you know, energy drinks, they're touting, they're proud of what they support with their money, and that goes back into it too. Like, okay, if these manufacturers support these things, there's a brand loyalty there. Like, okay, well, my favorite driver, like let's say E20, because I want to see Subaru come back into rally car racing as far as on the global scale. They're there with ARA, which we'll get to that in a minute. But like say E20 leaves Hyundai again and goes to Subaru and races Rally 1 for Subaru. Okay, well, my favorite rally car racer happens to be E20. Not in, he's up there, but he's not like my favorite. But it's for the example. So then Oit goes and drives for Subaru and like, okay, well, I need a new car. Man, I could go get a Subaru similar to what Oit's driving every, you know, rally stage or rally event, whatever, however you want to word it. I could go get one that's similar and go drive it down the road, and it'd be super super cool to have something like that. Now, obviously, like nowadays, the cars are a bit different from like what they were in the '90s, where you could go buy like the exact same Subaru essentially off of the showroom floor, but the idea is still there, and there's the idea of pride in like you could tout that in your commercials like they used to, you know, Chevy with the whole like a rock thing, showing all the different feats that a Chevy could do. Uh, you know, same Ford did similar things, Dodge did similar things. You know, I think that there's a lot of things that you could do to help market, and it would bring so many good things to the sport of rally. It would show that you care about something else other than dollars, I guess is the easiest way to put it, which helps you make more dollars in turn, because then like the people who are rally fans would support you. So adding incentives and everything like that. And Lancia has said that they're making an effort to come back into rally and be a force to be reckoned with on Rally 1. But I said the word Skoda earlier. For those of you who don't know, Skoda is a European car manufacturer. I would like to see them bump up to level 1, and I would actually like to see them tout, like, I was thinking of one car team whenever I first started like coming together with this idea for this video / podcast. But now I would kind of like to see it be a 2-car team where you have Oliver Solberg and his co-driver in one car, and then you have Gus Greensmith and his co-driver in another car, because I feel like those 2 cars together would be a force to be reckoned with on the Rally 1 stage. They're doing great on Rally 2. Both have won wins this year. Citroen finally got a win here in Croatia, but the past 2 rallies, it was Gus Greensmith taking the win in Kenya and Oliver Solberg taking the win in his home country of Sweden. So the ability's there. I think we need to ease up on some of the rules that that they're trying to do in Rally 1 to make it more competitive as well. There's been some issues stated with like the hybrid stuff, and it even malfunctioned several times during the Rally Kenya. And Rally Kenya is a stage that needs to stay. We're getting kind of close on what I can do for time-wise, I believe, for a YouTube video, so kind of need to hurry it up in a sense. So I would love to see more manufacturers present in global, as well as even here in the United States. I'd like to see some good stuff happen with ARA, because ARA is amazing. I think they need help in a sense. There's some great American manufacturers that I think need to get on board globally, as well as, and I say American, Toyota is the most American made car right now, or at least it was last time I looked. So like Dodge with the Dart, you could, like, they had the whole rally package. I really think that like seeing them make an appearance, like a whatever, in a few seasons of rally would be really really cool. Just because it's another manufacturer. I don't know what the incentives thing would look like to help get these companies there, but WRC would have a better idea of like what would make sense. But like, you need to make your manufacturers that are there want to stay, which they want to stay, because right now they are there's only a couple of them, so like they're running the monopoly, and so yeah, like we get more wins, we look good. But what if we added in these other manufacturers? Well, what would make your previous manufacturers want to stay, and what makes these new manufacturers want to come in? You got to find that sweet spot there, and what that exactly looks like, I don't know. Like maybe lower entry fees for the new motorsports teams coming in to kind of help sweeten the deal. There's several different things that they could do. It just would automatically come down to what they wanted to do. But ARA could use some more manufacturing backing as far as that goes. And like you could even start off, if you're Dodge, Chevy, and Ford, with ARA teams to help push ARA further, which again would be another huge step in my opinion for rally, especially here in the United States. But to kind of cross between the two, as far as what I want to see happen for rally car racing in general, would be, I want to see a 15 calendar schedule, or 15 stop schedule, I should say, come out for WRC. So here's what I would like to see the WRC calendar look like, and I'll explain it once we get done going through all the different lists. So Monte Carlo being stop one still, because I think that that's a great first stop of the year. It's a great way to open up the season. Sweden being another amazing like second stop. It's almost customary at this point, I feel like, to have that second stop be Sweden, because you get the snow and the gravel, and it's such a fun rally being in the winter. For Ireland, I want to see Ireland come in. They're not going to make it in for 2025, but possibly for 2026. So in order to make this work, imagine this being like a 2026 schedule, or even like 2027 or 28 even. So then, well, that Ireland would be number 4. Kenya would still be number 3, because I like that third spot for Kenya, because it puts it in the rainy season, and it makes it so interesting. 5, Portugal, because I wanted to kind of keep this similar to like what we're already doing. 6 being Australia, and in parentheses I put Sydney. We'll come back to why I say Sydney, but they have ran a WRC event in Australia before, so like going back to where they had been in the past would make sense. But and I'm not 100% sure where that was off the top of my head, so I will claim ignorance on that one. But then number 7, Florida; 8, Colorado; 9, Oregon; 10, Mexico; 11, Chile; 12, Latvia; 13, Greece; 14, Central Europe; 15, Japan. And then alternates being, like if one of these couldn't be filled with that, my other options would be Turkey, Poland, Morocco, and Norway. Now, personally, my feel for having Sydney would be like your park expose, or whatever they call it, like the opening ceremonies and stuff for WRC being in front of the Opera House. Like you get that iconic picture and stuff like that. And there's some really great roads right there outside of Australia, or right outside of Sydney, like going out into like the crazy stuff, so to speak. But like all those like American ones, like Florida, Colorado, Oregon, Mexico, and Chile, like having that over on this continent stay for that long. Call it like the American swing or something like that. And the whole point would be, and you can even go up into Canada for one of those events too. But the whole point would be, especially for like Florida, Colorado, and Oregon would be to showcase the Americas and to really, like, there's some roads here that would put these rally guys to, like, the WRC guys to the test, but it would also help the sport of rally here in America. And my thoughts were like, okay, add a new stop to the ARA schedule and have it be like Florida, where it's a co-promotion thing almost, where like WRC helps out ARA, essentially, is what it would probably have to be. But the whole point would be to, like, obviously all of it would be to help further American rally racing. But then I started thinking, okay, well, instead of Oregon, if we could work this schedule right, where WRC is going back to the Olympus rally, and have that be a WRC one and not just an ARA one, and they could work together on that one. So maybe like one or two of these rallies be a like hand in hand thing, where like ARA is like a running the same weekend or something, to where ARA is getting recognition, where like, hey, when WRC is not here, you should be watching these guys. And Dirtfish is doing a great job of promoting rally here in the States, and I appreciate it, as well as obviously on the WRC global scale. But like Colorado, have it be done at the airport, like the all the opening ceremonies and like the park expose. I can't remember what they call it for WRC, but like having those cars like right underneath Lucifer, so to speak, like for the opening ceremonies and stuff, would be so cool. And then there's some amazing roads all throughout there. Like, I mean, you could even, do some stuff down by Colorado Springs. You can make Pikes Peak part of the whole thing if you wanted. I don't think it's necessary. I think like keeping Pikes Peak as its own special entity could be done and make it still awesome. You do a great mixture of gravel and tarmac in Colorado. Florida, I feel like you got to go like Tampa or someplace like down further south, like Miami, to where you can like do some Everglades stuff or whatever. But obviously, like alligators and pythons and everything, needing to keep spectators safe. Maybe not so much like in the Everglades itself, but it would give a neat feel for the East Coast. And then like Colorado, you would kind of get your Midwest a little bit, and then like Oregon or Washington would get you your Western feel, but not like the deserty feel, because you would already have somewhat of that in Colorado. So that's just some thoughts that I had. We're getting pretty much to the time of wrapping everything up. I would want to see Mini make a rally comeback as well, along with Mitsubishi and VW, like with a Beetle, because I think that those are staples in rally, and I would love to see them make a comeback. So just some past, present, and future, like reminiscing and wishing for you guys for this episode. I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on this Monday. Good Monday to you, and we will catch you on the next one, where I won't yammer as much, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling. Thank you guys so much for listening.